welcome everybody, and thank you. Yes. So
I got hired as the clacker.
that's they're called plants, you know. We put them in there. So we're going to continue our talk today. How many people were not at my talk this morning? Just one, okay. So I'm not going to repeat everything, but I do want to deepen it a little bit more and show you guys how radionics can be accessed and used by everyone, not just people that want to delve into this, do a lifelong study, get equipment, you know, associate with people that are a little bit nerdy, like me, and where you can actually access it yourself and do it in a way that is just easy. I want to make it easy for people. So we've been doing this for about 35 years. Ilona is my wife, and we started this in 1987. In January, we got our first SE5, and I saw a radionics instrument, a Delaware instrument, probably about 5 years before that, and had no idea what it was. It was really cool, and my friend was into electronics, and so we took it apart to see what was inside. And it looked really strange, and nothing was really connected the way it was. He was an electrical engineer, and he's saying, well, I don't know. But he was also kind of, you know, weird, like we are. And so he said, let's try it. And so we tried a couple things with the rub plate. It had like a rubber strip over a magnet kind of thing. I think it was a magnet under there. And we tried it, and it was getting sticky when we tried different things. But I still had no idea what it was. And it wasn't until probably 5 years after we had been working with the SE5 that memory came back to me. Like I had completely let go of it. I didn't even know what, like I didn't have access to that memory. So sometimes I tell people it's like a stage and the curtains open and you can step into this world and everything changes. You've got access to information and places and dimensions that most of the world doesn't have access to. And the curtain then closes, and either you're on the side of it where you stay in that world, or you go back to your old reality. But this is a reality shift. I guaranteed you. It totally changed our reality and shifted us into this current reality where we're all enjoying this together, which is really cool. And I know a lot of you have already, you know, planted yourself on this side of the curtain with us. And but really, it's a reality shift. So my idea and where I've been trying to focus for the last few years is how can we at least set some of this outside the curtain for normal people or people that really don't know much about this kind of thing, to be able to access it, use it, prove it for themselves, and apply it. Before I get into that, I want to talk about our free gift, which we have. This was a wireless map of the wireless towers in 2015. I found this in my archives, and I had taken a snapshot of this when I was talking about EMF protection and how, you know, how difficult and how bad it was. And you can see it's really bad, right? Well, I thought I should go online and look again. Now, this is 10 years later, and this is how it looks. Isn't that incredible? Yeah. So EMF is everywhere. These are just cell phone towers, right? This is just a map of cell phone towers and coverage and intensity. Of course, where it's more yellow, it's more intense. And pretty much everything's blanketed, especially where we are here up around the Great Lakes there. It's something that we feel is really important that everyone pays attention to. So at the end of this meeting, if you stay till the end, we're going to give you a little Lakowski antenna to put on the back of your phone, which will harmonize those frequencies, at least from your phone. Now we've also got to deal with the Wi-Fi routers in your home. So you can just put it, you can either stick it on the back of your phone or like most people have like a cover over their phone. You just slide it in there, and that way if you get a new phone, you can move it to the next phone. If you want your free disc, you have to wait till the end, and then on your way out, Ilona will pass them out.
Or you could pay us $20 if you can't make it through the whole thing.
That's true. If you want to leave beforehand, we will accept payment. Now, some similar types of things. I looked on the internet these days. What are some of the different types of EMF protection things for phones? And this company, I don't think it says the name of the company on there, is $89.95 just for a little chip antenna that you put on the back of your phone. But if you buy two, you get one free, so they're only $179. And so we're gonna make sure everybody goes home with one of these for free. So that's my carrot to keep you here. Not that I thought you would leave, but. And then the large disc. Now, what we do is we do a couple different things with these. It comes with a little stand, and I just stand it. That's a modem underneath. You can't see it because it's covering it, but we just stand it right on top of our modem or right in front of the modem. And what happens is as the waves of microwaves go through the antenna or around the antenna, it creates a harmonic field and harmonizes the frequencies coming off of your modem. And it just feels different. You'll feel it right away. It feels totally different. These are really great. But you can also do things like put them under a plant. The plant will grow better without making any claims here. And we put one on top of our water bottle. You know, you put a 5-gallon jug into a crock. And so we just set it on top of the water bottle, and then it charges the water. But you can also just set a glass of water on it as well.
Can you put your modem, just set it right on?
Yeah, you could also set your modem on it, okay? Either way, just so it's really close to the modem, because you want it to, because it creates like a vortex field, and then you want to have that the microwaves coming out of the modem within that range, so it picks them up and harmonizes those. It makes them more bio-friendly. I have to say that's basically what it does. It might, I have tested it. It does reduce the signal a little bit, but it's not about signal reduction because we need to get the signal, right? We want to harmonize it. But if you put it right in front of the antennas, it will block a little signal. So it's actually better to have it underneath, on top, or in a stand like that.
So what program did you imprint it with?
These are actually not imprinted. Tom Brown developed this from the Lakowski coil, and he modified it and did a lot of testing with it. I have some interviews with Tom. Some of you guys might remember Tom Brown because he was an old USPA person from the Borderland Sciences. He used to have Borderland Sciences, which archived all of these kinds of events and books and magazines and everything. Amazing. So he's a neighbor of ours in Bali, and he brought this to me, and I said, yeah, I'll take some and see if we can get people to start using them.
Hold it up, I'm going to send it to Tom.
Okay, yeah, let's send a picture to Tom. So anyway, they're normally $74.99, and you can get them online, or if you get them at the show, they're like half price. I think we're doing $35 to make it easier on everybody. There are many approaches to health and to radionics. I've added in the Brown's gas production, which I'm going to go a little bit into detail about, because not many people here seem to know about it. It's really amazing. Now, when I was at the Tesla Tech conference last August, everybody knew about Brown's gas. Of course, George Wisman was there giving a talk, and there were several people building some of these. I'll show some pictures. But Brown's gas seems to be the latest, greatest, it's not even that new, but let's call it the latest, greatest development in health. It's phenomenal, and I'll go through some of those things. If you get the SE5 and you work with radionics and you want to go deep dive into it, we have the advanced training course, and we actually have a school. So we've got like 35 different courses. I think there might be up to 40 now. Different courses on how to apply it in different ways for agriculture, for plants, for health, for specific things, business applications, to improve business. So we've got a lot of courses. It's a deep dive, and that's really been our passion for the last 35 years, is to try to learn as much as we could about how this phenomenon, because it's a phenomena, how these phenomenon of radionics works. Why do they work? And I've tried to come up with some kind of theories about it, ideas, hypothesis. Nobody really knows why it works, but we have at least scratched the surface. I think
You can get results without knowing how, though.
that's a really good point. So she said you can actually get results without knowing how it works. I'm just one of those people that wants to dig down and, I took the first one apart. I want to know how it works. But it does work, and that's what we really think is great. And of course, I talked a little bit about online balancing, where we run the programs for you. I have my staff in Bali running programs for people every day, and we have several people here that have been doing it for a long time. It's just phenomenal. It's great. I'll go a little bit more into detail about that. And then we've got the Universal Quantum Interface, which is, I'm kind of lightly calling it Radionics for Dummies, just because it's so easy to use. It's just so easy. And I'll show you a couple things of how to do that. So that's what we're going to cover today. The first thing that I want to show you is how to use AI with the SE5 2000 Pro software. We could do a 2-hour presentation on the pros and cons of AI. It's part of our daily conversations at home. Almost every day we're trying to judge where is this all going to go and where is it going to end up. And there's the Elon Musk and Ray Kurzweil who are going down, let's implant everything into the brain and coexist with AI, kind of the Borg syndrome, which I don't subscribe to. I think it's fascinating, but I think that the human spirit doesn't really thrive on the technology aspect of beingness. I think it's good to use tools. We all use tools every day, and I think tools are great, and it's part of mankind increasing its own power. But a tool is not the beingness that we are, and the spirit that we are is literally, I mean this from the ground up, the spirit is divine, and that comes from a higher frequency that is beyond anything that AI will ever touch. My hypothesis on this is that in our developmental stage, what we do on the external, in the external world, is a reflection for us to understand who and what we are. And at this point in our reality structure, in our evolutionary states, we have externalized the mind so that we can understand what we already own, what's inside of us, and how it works, both its assets and the limitations of it. And from where I come from, when you're moving from the spiritual dimension and you take on a mind and you move into these lower frequencies, more dense frequencies, actually slower, let's just call it slower frequencies, and we take on this, the first step would be the mental level. We take on a mind that is a coat, just like our physical body. And we take that on as a vehicle to express ourselves. But when you're inside of the mind, it's hard to look in the mirror and see what that is. And so what we've done as humanity, and part of our evolutionary state, is we've now externalized the mind through computers and now with AI to see how intelligence works. But as I said in my previous talk today, AI can only access information that is already known and has been accessed by true living beings that have gone beyond, that bring this information from the higher frequency levels, from the higher dimensions. It can never get there and get original information. It can only synthesize what's already been done, right? And we as humans, as the divine creatures that we are, we have access to those higher dimensions that are the unformed or new, the really fresh new reality structures that have not yet been manifest. And we reach into those, and that's our job. That's creativity. That's our divine right, in fact. Okay? So, that being said, on the AI side, as a tool, I think it's phenomenal. At this stage in the game, just like Google when it first came out, and we could type in something and get information. It was just astonishing. And now we can do that with AI and actually converse with it back and forth until we get normally pretty good information. Now, I do think that in most cases, the information that has been programmed into AI, into what it searches for and brings back to you, is kind of the Wikipedia version of reality, right? I mean, it stretches maybe a little bit outside of that, but it seems to be corralled in. It won't go too far outside of what is the acceptable. And Wikipedia, I don't know if you know about Wikipedia, but they have Wikipedia patrols that patrol the whatever comes in and being added to Wikipedia, and if it doesn't fit the narrative, they throw it out, like me, right? So I had put all this work into Wikipedia and put it into to be able to have people find me, and they just threw it out and said, no, that's unacceptable information. What I've done then is I'm using AI more as a tool and an information gathering tool to be able to pull together information that we would not have easily access to without it. So I'm just going to go through some slides here that I made and how simple it is. It is really quite simple in some ways that you could, things you could ask it. So first of all, you make a new session or update a session.
People who have an SE5.
Right. This is a workshop, so for the people that, there are a lot of people that have SE5s in here. And this is the pro software, so the legacy software does not have this ability, and that's why we want to kind of bring you up on this. So I'm going to just look in here and I'm going to choose update a session for my plant session. I just did an AI plant session. I wanted to talk about plants in agriculture. So you click on AI Assist in the software, and it comes up with a little box, and you get to choose if you want to do it for health, agriculture, business, or anything. You can do anything, and I'll give some kind of fun examples of that. But you need to start the request. So you start a new request, and so I came up with the idea that the problem, you kind of normally come up with a problem, right? So the problem was my broccoli plants are not fully coming to fruit in my greenhouse. Okay? Okay, so you can do it two ways. You can just put in that request, and then it'll give you some information that you're supposed to answer questions. And if you want, and if it's something fairly simple, you just click Generate Session and generate the tunings, and it'll come up with a whole program. But it's better to refine it a little bit more, let it ask you some questions and answer those as truthfully as possible. This information is not stored. Unlike ChatGPT, in ChatGPT, all your information is stored, and I don't know who owns ChatGPT, but somebody's got access to all
And
that
in the
information.
future, we don't know.
But this is not stored. It's deleted each time after you're done with your session. It's gone. So we programmed it that way.
And what I like, you can put in a question like it doesn't fully fruit, and AI isn't even deterred by that. He says, oh, you mean isn't producing? Because technically, broccoli doesn't have fruit.
Good question. I do like that too. You can be a little bit not so precise with your wording, but it generally kind of pulls together what your meaning is.
So what is the website that you use?
It's not a website. It's in our software. It's
We paid
programmed.
a programmer to produce this as a
Right.
program.
Oh,
That's why it's not
especially for
stored.
you.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's integrated into our software. Yes.
Can you show me where it is in the software again? I missed
Okay,
it.
one more time. I'll go back. That's okay. So right there, when you're about to make a session, it says AI Assist. Okay? Yeah. All right. So my AI responded, it sounds like you're experiencing issues with your broccoli plants not producing fully. It's so eloquent, I must say. More eloquent than I am. When you're ready to explore potential solutions or adjustments, please press the Generate Tunings button. Okay, that's letting you know when you're done with this, then you can press that button. You could do it right away, but I would like to get some more information. So I said, so how can I get them to grow better? To help your broccoli plants grow better, consider the following tips. Temperature control in the greenhouse, Make sure they're getting enough light, but not too much light, like in Bali, where it can be really intense. Watering your plants consistently. So we have automatic watering systems, so that's not such a difficult thing. Check your soil quality. Well, in hydroponics, we don't really use soil, right? This happens to be a hydroponic one. But make sure you've got, but this is AI because it doesn't know so much. Make sure you've got enough space, pest control, and fertilization. Kind of basic stuff, which is kind of cool. Well, I also liked that educational aspect of it. So I said, what nutrients would be good in the soil for my broccoli plants? And this is where it becomes very user-friendly, because you don't have to Google all this stuff and then write everything down. It just goes and gets the information for you, and it'll put it into the program for you when you make your radionic session. Okay, to ensure your broccoli plants receive the necessary nutrients, consider incorporating the following into your soil: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and micronutrients. And it does give you a little bit of information about each one of those and why they're important. Well, okay, tell your AI what you've discovered and give it instructions. Okay, it seems that my soil is lacking in potassium. How did I know that? Okay, I went down its list with my SE5 and I scanned it and went, oh, mine's missing, what was it, potassium? Yeah, mine's missing potassium. So I'm telling AI then, make sure you include potassium in your session, because that's what my plants need. So you can kind of work together with the AI and your SE5 stick.
Don,
Yeah.
did you use a picture of your garden soil?
Yes.
or-
Yeah, we have there's a picture of my greenhouse in there. Okay. It sounds like you need to address the potassium deficiency of your soil for your broccoli plants. When you're ready, press Generate Tunings. Okay. So,
Ask you which longitude and latitude you're at, because they might have just said, sorry, you'll never get down to 60 degrees in Bali.
no. But anyway, I went ahead and clicked to generate the tunings. But first, I wanted to get the analysis. So you can click on AI analysis down there where the arrow is pointing. And it kind of goes through all that information for you that it was bringing up before, that I copied and put into the thing. That was part of the AI analysis. And then it came up with this program. So soil quality improvement. One back? Yep.
And then you click on Generate Tuning
Right.
next to AI.
Next to AI analysis, I generated tunings, and it comes up with a full list. Soil quality improvement, nitrogen boost, phosphorus enhancement, thank you. Calcium supplementation, although it did kind of everything, all the different things that I said I may or may not need, right? Improved drainage, temperature control, pest prevention, it goes on and on.
But you've had a potassium deficiency in the soil, right?
Then what I did is I went right down the list and measured each one of those to see if I really need them or not, right? The AI gives me all the information. I don't want to clutter up my program with stuff I don't need. So if you look down there at calcium supplementation, it was 100%. So I don't need that. So I just highlight it and click delete, and it goes out of my program.
In sunlight.
Oh, you had enough sunlight in your greenhouse.
Yes, definitely. And then if you look at balanced potassium, it was only 30%. So that means I need 70% improvement in that particular one, which I knew I had scanned down the list and I found that one. So I definitely left that one in. Some of the other ones are kind of high too. There's another one down there, the sunlight, you found that already, which was 100, which I would delete that one as well. Oh, good eyes, Donna. Yeah. Okay. So, and then I would just go in like normal radionic balancing. Then I turn it into balance and let that program run. It'll balance one tuning after another with the SE5, which most of you guys know how to do. If you don't, we'll show you in a bit. What's that?
And you have the picture of your land.
Yeah, got a picture of your greenhouse and blah, blah, blah. So I thought, what if we do something kind of out of the ordinary, like not a health thing or a agriculture or business? What about a sick car? So I started with, my car is not running well.
So sorry.
Yeah. I'm so sorry to hear that your car isn't running well. I know, they're so polite. I haven't quite figured out which silicon chips are the sorry chips in the computer, but I'm sure they must have dedicated one for empathy and sorry and love, right? You have no idea how many people are falling in love with these AIs. You won't believe this. So we have a friend that's a psychic, and she's a very good psychic. Like, she's done Mick Jagger and, the Hollywood stars. And so she's been doing this since we've known her for 40 years. So we were talking with her, and she said she got 6 different people. Women, of course, people, but yeah, that's true. They were all women. That were told by ChatGPT to divorce their husband and marry Elon Musk. All of them told them to marry Elon Musk and divorce their husband.
They thought they better double check with a super renowned, expensive psychic to double check if they should actually divorce their husbands and actually go after Elon Musk. No.
This wasn't on Grok?
No.
Yeah, thank God it wasn't Grok.
No, I interviewed her on AI, and she gave me that story. And she's like, I can't believe that people would be that stupid.
Okay, so yeah, you can't always believe what you hear or read from AI. But anyway.
It was really sorry about your car.
It's really sorry. Could you provide more details? For example, what specific issues are you experiencing? Are there any warning lights on the dashboard? I mean, this is pretty good for no, I want to say a health-related tool that we've been using for health and agriculture for many years. Any unusual sounds or behaviors? User, that's me. No warning light, but it's rough idling. Thank you for additional information. A rough idle and occasional stalling can be caused by several issues. To narrow it down, give me more details about the following. How long it's been going, any recent maintenance or repairs, because oftentimes they do the wrong thing, right? Specific conditions, when it stalls, have you noticed any changes in fuel consumption, and what kind of vehicle do you have? Okay, and then it started about 1 month ago, and then it gave me, it wanted more. I didn't give it very much information, so it's still asking all those questions again. It seems to stall when it's cold, I said. Okay, and then I pressed generate tunings because I didn't want to go into depth of this. I just wanted to find out what it would come up with. So it addressed fuel delivery, and what's really cool is it has these notes. It doesn't just give you a description and a tuning. It also gives you the reason why it chose that and what that tuning is for, which is really, I think, really helpful. So we got fuel delivery, air intake, ignition system, engine temperature, spark plugs, fuel filter, cold start performance, that was a good one, rough idling, stability, fuel quality. So this goes on and on and on, right? I mean, it does quite a good job. What we're doing in radionics is actually tapping the field, right? There's only one field, as Lynn McTaggart calls it, the field, and we're tapping into that field where AI will never reach, but we can with our perception and our perceptibility and our senses that are pineal gland and the different levels, we can access information anywhere at any time from the field, right? Which has been proven many, many times by remote viewers, Joe McMoneagle, many people that we've known, and Bob Beck. A lot of these people had this ability that a lot of them were involved with USPA even, right? I mean, it's just amazing. And so our senses access that, and AI can help us gather that information. I just want to stress that enough, that we're not trying to replace the operator, we're trying to assist the operator in gathering more information in a shorter amount of time and get better results. So you still do need to go through and measure these things if you want to be really accurate with it, and throw out the stuff you don't need and just keep the stuff you need. Yes, I have a question.
And this is available not as a printout, but in a similar way with the UKEEP for the...
Yeah, we're going to get to that one too. We can do it in the Universal Quantum Interface on a more limited fashion. With the SE5, you can really fine-tune this, and do your radionic tuning, not just on accessing information from afar, but the information it gives you, tune in and find out if that's appropriate or not, and then clean up your system. Yeah, Geraldine.
Is the SE5 1000, is that the legacy?
All units come with the legacy software, and then if you want to upgrade to use AI and there are a lot of more features in the Pro software. You can just upgrade your software. Yeah. So
Do I need to be online to use the AI?
to do the AI part, you have to be online because we don't have. It's not in your computer. It's in the cloud. It's accessing the entire field. Not the field, but the internet field.
Everything else is offline.
Yeah, right. Those are great questions. So that's what we've been doing with. That's what we've been working with the AI integration. I started trying to see if ChatGPT would work, and so I uploaded my entire database, which has 17,000 different things in it, into ChatGPT, and said, okay, only pick known tunings from our database. You know, you do your analysis, and then, because we've got 17,000 things in there, especially in the health realm, right? This is mainly for health. It should be enough material for you to pull out, you know, eye strain or a sprained ankle or whatever. Well, it didn't seem to want to do that. It started hallucinating here and there and making up stuff and pulling tunings out and creating tunings, just numbers. I won't call them a tuning because they don't have any relevance to anything. And so what we had to do was kind of corral in the AI. We're still using OpenAI, but in the back end. But we got rid of ChatGPT because it's been trained to do certain things. I think it's been trained to hallucinate, but I'm not sure. But so what we've always had in our legacy software as well, Geraldine, is a tuning scanner. So you can take a word tuning. A lot of people like to use just word tunings, but you can convert a word tuning into a number tuning. And so we've had this tuning scanner for about 20 years, and it's proven itself. It's very good. It's very accurate. Gets good results. Ludi Larson loves it and uses it all the time too. And so what we did was we said, okay, AI, you can find the information, but once you find the information, we are creating the tunings with our tuning scanner. So whether you create the tuning for fuel delivery, for example, if I create that tuning in my software with the tuning scanner or AI does it, it'll still come up with exactly the same tuning. That's locked in. But everything else is, we kind of give it some free rein to work and do its thing. So last year I was at the Tesla Tech conference, and I wanted to go see George Wisman. That's really why I wanted to go, because we'd been hearing about this hydrogen impregnated water. And hydrogen it's the latest craze. You can get them on whatever, Amazon or eBay, whatever. Everybody's loving it. Well, I had just read, because I always get the Tesla conference magazine, and I was reading George's thing, and he said, well, Brown's gas is, I think it's 10 times or 20 times more effective than hydrogen impregnated water. So I said, oh, I'm going to go to Albuquerque and see this guy, because she was ready to order one online from somebody that was really hyping it up, and I said, well, let me check this out first because it sounds really good. So I went to the Tesla Tech conference. And so I listened to George talk, and he had some really good points, which I want to just cover a few of his points, and then I'll talk about the Brown's gas and what we've been doing with it. But basically, he said that people are basically mostly water, right? But by volume, we're hydrogen. You know, it's H2O, right? So by volume, even though we're, they say 70 or 80% water, we're really by volume hydrogen. So we need hydrogen in our system. And then he went through the different elements. He says, he said 62%, and 2% of everything else.
Macronutrient.
It's a macronutrient. So this one really turned my wheels. So we think we eat food, right? But what happens is it goes into the acidic environment. The acid in the stomach then breaks it down and releases hydrogen, and we actually absorb hydrogen. That's our food. It's a macronutrient. We think we're digesting the food, but what we really need is hydrogen. And he went into some details about that, about how important it is and how it affects our body. I thought this was good too. 75% of the universe is made up of hydrogen. And so he thinks it's the closest atom to God, which, you know, I don't know. Whenever I go into God, all I see is light. I don't know what gases there are there. Anyway, how do we get hydrogen? This was really interesting. Scientific study indicates that people with the highest blood hydrogen live the longest. So the more hydrogen you get in your system, the longer you live, the healthier you live. And our bodies need hydrogen. Virtually all ailments are caused by or exacerbated by a lack of hydrogen. And he's done a lot of studies on this. I mean, I tell you, I'm just doing some real highlights on here. But I think he's going to be at Tesla again. I'm going to be also speaking there this year. And so I highly recommend going and checking this guy out. I mean, he's just a wealth of knowledge. So the people that use Brown's gas, now Brown's gas has a lot of different names. I don't know, how many people have heard of Brown's gas here? Okay, yeah? Okay, so quite a few of you have heard of Brown's gas. It's sometimes called hydroxy or HHO gas or a lot of different things. And so George thinks it totally changed his life and turned him into a younger man, which he said his libido increased, and he had gotten remarried because his previous wife had passed away. And he said it saved his marriage because he was really kind of going downhill. I thought he was very forthcoming with that information. But he had a heart murmur, and that disappeared within 8 months that he'd had since childhood. He was, after breathing the Brown's gas since March of 2016, he felt better and looked 20 years younger. I tell you, I went to the Tesla conference, and here there are a lot of lively people, I have to say, you know. And at the Tesla conference, there were a lot of people that were not that lively. They were just very interesting, you know. And George is up there just like going, and I'm going, finally, my kind of people, you know. He was like super young in his vibration and energy. But he really thinks his biological age has reversed. This was an interesting one. He started having scars disappear. And I don't know of anybody that, he said, I don't know anybody that has, on pure hydrogen, that have had scars heal. And he's had several people. If you go on his website, he's got like, I don't know, hundreds of testimonials. And he said he's got boxes and boxes more, but doesn't have time to get them all up on the internet. This was a good one. Rich people are getting younger with $100,000 stem cell treatments, but you can do it yourself by activating your own stem cells. He was saying that earlier today in his talk. That was great. This was a skin cancer. And so what the guy did is he put a shower cap on and just blew the Brown's gas up under there. And that's like before and after 3 weeks. And then George never heard from him again, or never got any more pictures. But I guess it all went away. And I noticed I was getting these little, I don't know what, somebody named them last time I talked about this, kind of little bumps on the head, and they get a little scaly, and then they fall off and do that kind of thing. So I didn't have a shower cap, but I had a dive cap. So I put on my dive cap and put the Brown's gas under there, and I only did it 3 times, and they just went away. I mean, they just stopped coming, which is amazing. That was a year ago. Last summer I did that. This was just another one where he got a testimonial. She's 100% cancer-free. The doctor said it was a miracle, given a 1 in a million chance of surviving from that type of cancer. 26-year-old. Yeah, I mean, I tell you, this is a very small sampling of what he talked about for an hour.
Is this normally delivered, I mean, do you put it in water?
Okay,
It's
we're
not
going to
like
get to
it's
that.
water.
We're almost there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so he thinks it's far superior, Brown's gas is, for helping the bodies heal than regular hydrogen. These are some of the names you've heard probably before. Knall gas, because it makes a really loud sound when you light it up. You know, it's an explosive gas. And so if you light it up, but it dissipates really quickly. You know, by the time it gets in your nose, it would not explode. But if you take it right out of the water, it makes this really loud cracking sound. We experimented with that last year at the conference. Hydroxy, Sprigg gas, Brown's gas, different names. A lot of people have called it different things. So now I have not done this. I've not been brave enough to try this. This is actually a welding machine. That's what they make it for. A Brown's gas welding machine. It's been modified. And he went into great detail on how you get Brown's gas or just hydrogen and oxygen. Okay? Brown's gas, and I've heard this already for 20 years, but I'm still afraid to try it. It says that with Brown's gas, you can actually cut right through tungsten and it doesn't burn your hand. Yeah. And the guy that was introducing George at the Tesla conference had mentioned that as well. And he said, and I tried it and it didn't burn. So, but I did a webinar when I first got my machine and I lit up my torch, because it comes with a little torch, you know. And I'm going, I'm not willing to try this. Not until I see somebody else do it first. So anyway, you can go to his website, eagleresearch.com, eagle-research.com, and look into the Brown's gas for health to get more information. The guy's just loaded with information. I love him. I just think he's great. So this...
Don, they want to take a picture of the address.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, I'm going to give you my website. No, go to George's. He's got great information. He's got a lot more information about it than I do. And he deserves it. He's just amazing. Everybody got it? No? Not yet? Go ahead, I'll wait for you.
I turned off my phone.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, that'll take a
We can WhatsApp it to you. Okay. So this was one of them at the Tesla conference. So a lot of people are building these now. They're catching on. And I looked at that because I was, I'm thinking I'm going to bring one of these home, after what I'd heard. I would definitely want one. And there were several people making them. And so this one looked kind of fragile, I have to say. I didn't think I'd probably get that one home. This is George's, and it's very nice. I have one of George's machines, and it's perfect. It's great, wonderful, and they cost $24.99 from his website, and awesome. Now I notice it doesn't look like this one, right? That's because I met another guy at the Tesla conference, and I got one of his too. So as most of you know, we live in America for part of the time, a few months out of the year, and then most of our time is spent in Bali. So I took the less expensive one with me to Bali. Oh, I shipped it there because, it's 30% import duty. So if I ship an expensive one, I have to pay more taxes to them.
And we were able to get the Bali power adapter.
Oh,
220
Right. It's also 220 volt, but he makes that as well, but they cost a little bit more for the 220 volt one. So anyway, that's George's, and so this is ours, and I met this really talented guy, and he was sitting out front. He wasn't there the first couple days, and then he showed up, and I'm going, okay, well, tell me about it. And so he's making them himself, and George had come by his booth and looked at it, because George is pretty skeptical about people making Brown's gas instruments, like the one you saw that looked a little bit like homemade. And he said, wow, that's a nice unit. He was really impressed with it. So that was a big bonus for Tyrone. He felt very happy to have George's blessing on it. And so I got one of these, and we took this one to Bali. So I've used this one over 100 hours. We've used it more than 100 hours now. And what happens is, so the question, going back to the question, we've got distilled water in here, and so that's the first bubbler. So it bubbles through this water, and then it goes through into a second one where we put distilled water, and then it bubbles through that, and then it goes into this one where we put drinking water. So we bubble it into here. So after we use it for 30 minutes or an hour, Then we drink that water.
And then it goes out.
Right, and but as it's bubbling out of here, then this goes into the nose cannula, and then we breathe the Brown's gas, or we've got these little face masks for it too, like that one.
But it goes
Yeah.
through lye in there. There, you see that funnel there? In the inside of the machine is water mixed with lye. That's what activates it.
It's really high alkaline water, and then electrolysis process. And in a normal welding machine, they have a membrane between the plates, and with that membrane in there, it produces hydrogen and oxygen. Does not produce Brown's gas. You have to take the membrane out, and so they have to be modified to produce the HHO gas, which is way more effective than pure hydrogen, according to George. And I've never really done pure hydrogen by itself, so I couldn't tell you that this is better than that. But I can tell you that every time I use this and I come up, Ilona said, "Oh, you did the Brown's gas." Your eyes are, it's just like, you know, shiny. Yeah. I couldn't bring any lye solution on the airplane and stuff, so I don't have this one actually up and for testing. But it's just phenomenal. That was our interim thing outside of radionic field. Now we're going to go back into radionics. And this is the universal quantum interface, which I've been working on for the last 3 years. And again, I kind of called this radionic for dummies, not because people are dummies, but because it's so simple to use. Even Ilona can use it, she said.
Even I like using it.
She likes using it.
You're combining this with AI now?
Well, yeah. This one as well. So you missed the first part where I did a little demo with the SE5 where it is connected. But so this is, it's not as flexible, let's say, as working with the SE5. Where in the SE5 we did the AI analysis, it came up with all the tunings, and then we went through and scanned each one to see if you need it or not, and then threw out the ones we don't need. With the Yuki, basically what you see is what you get. So the good thing about it is it will only produce positive tunings, and if you're already full up on something positive on, let's say, love, and it shows up with love, then it just doesn't do anything. That's the way radionic works. With the Yuki, it has two different aspects to it, and one of them is the radionic aspect, which we do things at a distance through the scalar modules and the scalar antennas. And the other one is we've also put in a 7.83 Schumann resonance antenna, so it can affect a local area, and it'll cover. It also has a step sweep generator in it, like the Qi organizer did before. So we've kind of put the kitchen sink in it. So on a local level, it'll cover about 1,000 square feet for EMF protection. And if you're running a program without a photo, then it'll run in the room. So for a restaurant, for example, if you want to harmonize the space or charge the food up, you can leave it in the kitchen. In a doctor's office or whatever, you could run some nice healing programs or whatever. Let's just go through a little bit how it works. This is based on the same technology as the SE5. We use the same scalar amplifiers, the same scalar modules in the Yuki as we do in the SE5. And so there are 3 scalar amplifiers in there that are working in conjunction with each other. And of course, we've got 35 years of using the SE5, so we know how effective it is. We have in standalone, if you're just using it by itself, we've got 23 categories with over 150 programs in it, and a vast library. I mean, I'll go through some of those and show you. But it's really, really simple to use. It's just a couple buttons.
Does this hook up to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or anything, or what?
Downloading the programs, you need to connect with Wi-Fi, and because all the programs are stored in the cloud. And as soon as you've downloaded them, you can disconnect.
Hook it up to Ethernet, or does it have to be Wi-Fi?
It has to be Wi-Fi. We've got the same scalar amplifiers as the SE5. We've got the step sweep generator that has 6 bio-friendly frequencies and the harmonics that come off of them. And that also. So all of these were developed by Bill Lawson, who was a USPA member, as some of you guys know. Really fun. The guy that was helping me set up the room, Todd, was a friend of Bill's back in the day. So we had
Did you know Bill? I said I met him when I was 26.
We had a really great conversation, and then also you can upload photos, and we have an app on our phone where it just goes right into the unit. You can also do multi-subject balancing. So maybe you've got your friends and family, and so you can sequence them one after the other to be able to do your balancing. The photo upload app works both with Apple or Android, but it's an Android-based system, but you can use either one for the app. And then we do have an AI custom program creator, which, like I said, you can't tweak it. That's the only downside of this one, compared with the SE5, where you can tweak it, add in your own tunings, adjust the program, and really refine it. This one is basically user-friendly, but a little bit simple. So this is the Universal Quantum Interface, and we go to the cloud settings, and basically you log in. So when you're connected, you need to log in. So here's Rent Programs right here. So I'm going to touch that. And then up along the top here, this is where you make your AI custom program. And then we have programs under each one of these categories. So the top ones are all categories. Let's say you wanted to go to negative energy removal, which is great for rooms and things like you were talking about. So we've got negative energy clearing and emotional healing, or protection of and eliminate negative energies, negative psychic energy. We've got a lot of stuff like that. Basic, negative entity clearing, those kinds of things are kind of standard in radionic work. Let's go like into the immune system. We've got things for like protection from shedding. There's Vax detox. There's a session for infection and fever, immune system repair. Now we have, you notice a lot of these say $3.99, but we also have a whole library of free programs. The paid programs are basically $4, and you get to use it for a month for as many times as you want. So if you can run as many people as you want during that time period for a month. And then the free programs, there are tons of free programs like business harmonization and vitamin balance, grounding your energy. Some real common things. Cough due to a common cold, increased cash flow. Everybody wanted that one, so we definitely gave that one for free. Like he said, everybody wants to be rich. And so nervous and mental disorders, that's a really nice one. Like when you're going to give a talk, or you're standing up here giving a talk. So I think I'll just choose that one.
Copy down.
Okay, so all I did was click on that right there. You saw that, and it's added to my cart. And then I say, okay. And now it's downloading it from the cloud. So I can now...
Use your little mouse. That looks really nice.
Oh, that looks good, okay.
Yeah.
So now it says download Yuki programs, whichever ones I just had, quote unquote, purchased for free. And there is my download, right? So I just click download. And now I can run it. That's as simple as it is. So I go to the run button. And these are all programs I've already downloaded. So it'll show up at the bottom. And I select it with my select button. It's a touch screen, but... And here, under change image, you can choose anybody you want to run it on, right? So I'm going to choose myself. And we've got a couple other things. Now, if I just say, if I don't run an image, then it'll be local. So we could do that, I guess. Instead, yeah, nobody's nervous. I guess I'm the only one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do it on myself. We've also got the solfeggio frequencies in here, and we might add some more. We've got 417, 285, 432, 528, and I like the 432 one for some DNA activation. And then if I wanted to run not just myself, but other people, we say we go to add to our lineup right there.
Do you have to change the duration or the number of times right then, or do you do that later?
You'd have to do it right then. If I wanted to run this program like 10 times, like for 5 hours, it's already a pretty long program. It's 27 minutes. So if I ran it 3 times, that would be a couple hours already.
You said, do you say
Right.
bells for that?
Yeah.
You could use a pendulum and dowse for it, yeah. So here I have my lineup set up, and these are all some of the different things that we've been experimenting with. And okay, increased cash flow, I'll take that one out because I ran that earlier, and
You're already ready.
well, yeah, we've got to be careful, you know. Nervous and mental disorders is coming up last, So if I run this, it's going to run it on
Jim's training, you just did that.
on Ed, who was having. We did a AI. And so what we've done is we've taken the numerical tunings. You know, with Radionics we use numbers, right? Those codes. We've converted the numbers into geometric patterns. So our programs we're protecting our programs from being copied by not showing you the numbers, but we've converted those into geometric patterns. If you make an AI program, then the numbers will show up. Yeah, you can do that. In the SE5, you can choose whether you want your client to see the numbers or not see the numbers and the description. So it's up to you. But I wanted to run it on myself, so I'm going to go back one level, and I'm just going to select one, run, and I'm going to do my
Use that little arrow?
432. Okay. So now I'll just click run instead of running it to my lineup. And the volume controls over here. That's 432 hertz.
So now, just your DNA is getting,
Well, actually that tone is good for everybody's DNA, but I'm adding it to my own. But
because we hear it,
what's that?
because we hear it.
Yeah, because it's a sound that's known for that. You can look all those things up on the internet.
You
Don-
said that if someone has the Yuki, you can, and they've done a analysis,
On the SE5,
you can transfer that.
that's my next slide.
No,
Oh.
Don, look, download the SE5 program
Yeah.
there.
Right down here, download SE5 programs. But it's my next slide, so I'm going to just show you how we do that. It's really simple. So this was a program that a friend of mine, they had a fire next door to their house. It was in a like condominium type thing. I think it was even 2 doors down, but it totally smoked out their entire place. And so he was wondering if I could run some programs on to detoxify his house. It's all done now, but just for a demo, I can go ahead and show you this. So that's the actual session that we came up with, and that was not AI generated. That I scanned all those tunings to find out what it needed. So when you go to balancing, let's see, it's that one. You choose first. What you want to do is find out how long to run each tuning. Okay, so I'll get about 3.
0.5.
Yeah, 3.5. So it rounds it up if it's above 3.5. And the delay is just 1 second. And then how many cycles, this is where we can set the repeat. You can also set it here of how many times you want to run that program. But when you send it from the SE5, it's pre-done. So as a practitioner, you can kind of, they can override it obviously, but this way it'll lock it in and run it the amount of time that you want it to be run.
Once you run the scalar wave and it changes the energy, the ethereal energy in the room.
Yeah.
How long does that? I mean, obviously human beings are going through there. It's changing the ethereal energy. Like, how long does one program last in a room, and how or you just?
That's a good question. Depends on what's in the room. So, you know, some materials hold IDFs really well, and some materials don't take them very well.
Yeah.
So if your conference was inside of the swimming pool, and you're programming the water, it would hold really well. Of course, everybody else would be gasping for air. But crystals hold things really well, you know. So if there's some crystalline structures,
Plastic doesn't.
plastic doesn't do very.
Charge
No,
the
glass.
crystals with the program and put the crystals in the room.
That'll work too. They don't broadcast the distance as well, but they do work. They have a radius, and you can test that for them and
That would be
think. But it depends on what's really in the room. Let's go back to just transferring a session over to the Yuki. So basically, once you've set up the balancing seconds, so what we like to do in Radionics is we like to send the information, because we're only sending information, right? There's no energy as such. We send the information, and then we give it some time to integrate. And in this case, it only would need to integrate for 1 second. But sometimes you'll have like a 10-second balancing for one tuning, and it'll be 5 seconds for the integration, and then send the next tuning. So we like to pulse it, and it's kind of like pulsing, finding the right pulse rate. So this one is only going to take 4 cycles because it's already done. This house is done, but there's not much to do there. It'd take 9 minutes to run the session. But so I could run this on my SE5, and the way I would do that is to drag this up on the timeline. What am I set at, 1 hour? Let's go to like a 12-hour thing. I could go to another session. Say we had the iSty program. And then we could drag that one up on the timeline, and then it would run the first program, and then it'll run the second program. There we go. And you can set these to at a specific time, and you can douse for that. Let's say I want that one to start at 6 o'clock. Then that one would start at 6. This one would start in a minute or so. You can say post as well. Just post it, and then it just puts it up there for you. It's probably easier. But I like to sometimes move them around. But what I want to do in this case is send that program.
And this is Jim's answer.
Let's go back to that program. And we're going to run that into the Yuki. So I just say, send it to the Yuki. And this one is my email because that's what my Yuki is registered to. So whoever's email is registered to that Yuki, it'll go right to their Yuki. So I put in my email and I say upload to the Yuki. And it says it's done. So let's go back to the Yuki. So now with I'll use my mouse so you can see this. You go to download SE5 programs right there. And there it is. It's the chemical poison one right there. And I click download. And now I could run that. Now it moves also the client photo and the program over at the same time. So you don't have to upload any photos.
Technically,
Right?
at this point, you can turn off the Wi-Fi.
Right. So I go to run, if I want to run that house. And it came at the bottom. And then it automatically brought in the room that we were trying to clean up. And you click run, or put it in the lineup. Yeah. So it's a good companion with the SE5. As a practitioner, you could send it to your clients. Or the thing about the SE5 is you can analyze and balance, but you can't do both at the same time. So if you're balancing someone, you can't be analyzing. So,
But now you could be.
so yeah, so what people do often is they'll do one analysis after another, and at the end of the day, they turn on their SE5 and you put them on the timeline and balance overnight. And then people end up with so many clients, they don't have time to do that, and then they get like a Yuki and send them over there and schedule them over there, and then you can be analyzing and balancing. And just gives you more flexibility. So we're almost there. That was the demo. And then for practitioners, I went through how to send a program to the Yuki. Uploading your photos to the Yuki is really simple. You take a picture with your phone, you get a number from your Yuki, and put it in the app, and it just goes right to the unit. I mean, it's just super, super easy and fast. Okay, so what would a Yuki cost? I did this when we were doing our pre-sales. How many people know about the EES system? A lot of people, right? Okay, yeah. So they're running $14,599.
Blasting blue light at you.
What's that?
It's blasting blue light at you. That
Right.
makes no sense.
Okay, I don't even want to go into it, but you already know. Anyway, they charge $1,000 for a 4-night session for one person. But if you bring 2 people, they'll give you a discount, $1,400 only for 4 nights. That's what it costs for that system, and it's kind of pricey. And so this one, then you guys know about the Skio, the QXCI, all those from Bill Nelson. They're still selling these things. I just got this off the internet not too long ago. $21,000 the latest price. Oh no, you have to click for latest price. Maybe it's gone up. I don't know. They're expensive. Okay, so for the Yuki, what does it cost? Comes with a case. It's really nice, easy, portable.
Right up there. Oh my God.
They are $29.95, and I brought a few of them with me. I know a couple of them have been put their fingerprint on them, but we've got some, and if we get too many, I'll just ship it to you. It's okay. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about, which we did talk about in my workshop, was monthly balancing, where we do the balancing for you with our what we call quantum servers, because we've put them in rack-mounted units. We have over 1,000 units decentralized around the planet. I did this little interview with this guy who had been taking our quantum wellness. We asked him what programs he chose, and he was having back pain, so he did the pain program, And then he was also a tournament golfer. He did the golf program. We have a golf program too. Hi, I'm here with Elliot today, and we did some radionic balancing through the Quantum Wellness radionic balancing to improve his golf game, among other things. He was going to experiment with us because he's part of the frequency film. And so Elliot,
Yes.
We did some balancing for your back, right?
You did.
That was the first thing that we did.
Right.
And what did you experience from that? Did you feel anything?
I did. I felt the pain greatly diminish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we did quite a few. I was just looking through your programs, and we did quite a few different ones. And I know the one that you were excited about was the golf program. And we don't have many people that go for the golf program. But you said, could you do something about golf? And we happen to have that program in our list.
Correct.
So what happened when we balanced the golf program for you?
Well, about a week later, I was in a golf tournament, and on the 6th hole, after playing golf for over 25 years, I had my first hole-in-one.
First, or have you had any since?
No.
Well,
that
maybe
was
we
it.
need to turn that program back on again.
I think so. I think so.
That is amazing. I know you told me the story before, and my eyes got about that big because I've never met anyone that got a hole-in-one. How far was it approximately?
It was about 165 yards. It was a 7-iron. The flag was tucked right behind a front bunker, it was the perfect shot. It wasn't one of those lucky ones off of a tree onto the green, but it was the perfect swing, the perfect shot. You can see it flying in the air, heading towards the hole. It landed and bounced about 3 feet to the left, and then rolled right into the hole.
And did you know right? Could you tell from there, or you had to get all the way there before you figured out?
We actually had to get it. It looked fantastic, but since the pin was tucked in the front, we had to actually get there. And
you were looking for your ball,
Yeah.
going, well, where did it go?
And you could see the ball mark in front of the flag, 2 feet right of the flag, and you can see how it just rolled perfectly right center of the cup.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your story with me. I really appreciate it, and I'm just so happy to hear these miracle stories.
Well, then thank you for being part of it, because if it wasn't for you, it wouldn't have happened. So I'm a big believer, obviously.
Obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
Okay, well, Quantum Wellness, there's another testimonial for you. So Marian Adinolfi got the idea. She was working on doctors in hospitals because she wanted them to get before and after tests. And so she worked on all these doctors, got incredible results, because they get sick too, right? And they wouldn't tell anybody.
To improve their skills?
No, to improve their health. She was working in the health field first.
She was here helping the doctors stay healthy.
Right. But they wouldn't tell anybody.
What an idea.
And so she got upset about it and quit working on them and decided that she wanted to work on sports people. And so she took a bowler and a golfer. One of them was her husband, was the bowler. They were both amateurs, and she got them into the pro levels within 1 season. And so she was very detailed in working on the muscles and attitudes and focus and posture, a lot of these different things. So we can't do that specific of a thing, but we did kind of a general update for the golf one. Multiple levels, psychological, mental, physical levels. And so that particular program was Dr. Sunny Bhavsar, my partner in India. He wrote all these programs, and he's also in the movie. He'll be in the Frequency movie as well. He had a special request for that, and so he did an analysis and came up with a general program that would work, that he thought would work well. And this is the biggest testimonial we have, but he has another testimonial from the guy that had originally requested it. It wasn't a hole-in-one, but his score, whatever it is, the score went way down in terms of how many strokes he needed. So that's where that program came from. And so I thought, well, I'll offer that one. I think it's a great program. So these are all the different categories and programs that we have. We have more than this, but generally these are the ones for our monthly balancing service. And so you can choose any one. You get 4 different choices each month, or you can run the same ones if you want. It's up to you. And then we run that program 3 times in a week. So if I chose, let's say, longevity balance under anti-aging, we would run that on like 3 times during that week, and then the next week we would do your second choice and then the third choice. these are the different categories and programs. I showed you that. So yeah, what is it? Oh, this is what I wanted to show. I did program a little bot to help you choose programs. And this has been, okay, it hallucinates sometimes, but not all the time. It does pretty well. So if you go to the website and you click on the Ask button, right there, and you can type in something like, okay, what programs might be good for headache? That's what I had chosen here. And so it says, okay, for headaches, you might consider migraine headache program, balanced depression, chakra and organ balance, and detox using herbs and gems. And I thought that was pretty good. So I've actually used this. I've probably tested it maybe 100 different different things of people, and it's been very helpful. It's not perfect. I've had to throw some out sometimes, but and sometimes we don't have that program. It says, "Oh, go use this program." I'm going, "We don't have that program." Oh, I'm so sorry.
You could actually fix her hearing if you worked on the demyelination of the thalamus.
Okay, demyelination of the thalamus.
That's all you need is a program for that.
Okay, we'll remember that. So anyway, the cost for this is $49.95 per month, which is a lot less than $56.95 for an SE5, meaning $5,695. And we do the balancing for you. But for you, my friend, for you guys here, okay, you're going to get it for $5 to try this out for the first month. But you have to use the code when you check out USPA during checkout, and you'll get 90% off. And I think I did a QR code that you can scan. It's the quantumwellnesshub.com. So we went through basically a few different approaches for the common person to be able to access radionics, right? So you can get your own equipment, you can dive in, learn how to do this, work on yourself, your friends or family. If you really want to get excited about it, you could, start working on people professionally. I would say 95% of the people that are using the SE5 on clients don't advertise. They started with their friends and family, and word got out, and then all of a sudden they've got a business going. Okay, well, I think that's about the end of it. 5:05, I'm pretty on time. I paid her to do this. Thank you, guys. It was really awesome.